Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, my bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Okay. Well, at least I had the presence of mind to. I was thinking. I don't know. I just felt like something wasn't right. We good. We open. We clear. This is what y'all didn't hear. Yeah. Act right. Urban therapy with son. It works out better when you can hear it, right? Yo, so we talking about not getting enough act right. Not getting enough act right. Y'all know some people call it act right, some people call it get right. But it's a little hood term. I don't want to say hood term, but it's a little slang that indicates that when somebody is not acting right, when somebody is not performing the way they're supposed to, when they're misbehaving, when they are performing under the level of expectation, and you feel like you need to fix the situation, you need to give them some more extra motivation to do better, to shape up or ship out. That's act right. That's act right. So some of y'all may have used the term at some point in your lives or whatever, where somebody wasn't acting right, and you said, okay, I think I know how to fix this. I think I know how to. Uh, yeah. When was the last time you had to give somebody some act right? Uh. So, some act right. Some act right kids, children, the little ones, the babies. You know, you can't always get babies to act the way that they're supposed to act. Even though you've given them a lot of love, you threatened them. Let's just put it that way. And, sometimes while kids are young and they're learning, they are trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And if they keep trying to learn and not picking up on what's supposed to work or what will work, you might have to give the kids some act right. Hopefully you don't come from an act right family as a first response, or the hit or spanking first responders. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There are plenty of families that you may have grown up with or grown up in or knew about, where their first response to anything that went wrong, anything that was unsatisfactory, anything that wasn't going the way that somebody wanted them to go, they was bringing out the belt, sort of think Think like Good Times, the TV show Good Times. You know, James was always talking about breaking out the belt. He was going to break out that belt and whoop ass. That was always his first response to any adversity, any misbehaving, any well, that was this form of punishment was his form of get right. And on the show it worked. And maybe a lot of people think that works too in their regular lives. And you know, depending on the family that you grew up with and their techniques or their innovation or whatever, trial and error, yeah, that might have been the form of act right or form of get right, act right, get right. It's the same thing. It just depends on the way you say it. You put that thing in quotes. So we're gonna let's get it popping. Let's go ahead and start this show. I'm already behind. Maybe somebody should have gave me some act right. Some act right. Nah, we ain't always being nasty with it. We ain't always gonna be nasty with it. You know, to come think about it, I wonder. Nah, I ain't gotta wonder. I was about to say, I wonder if anybody has ever felt like they had to give me some act right. Like, I ain't acting right. I know I got a history of, I ain't gonna say being bad, but maybe I need some act right every now and then. Does the act right always work? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Does the act right always work? Let's get into it. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 1:30 p.m. till around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should today. Today we are talking about not getting enough act right. Not getting enough act right. Now, the title suggests that somebody needs something or is expecting something and hasn't been getting enough of it. There are a lot of men who complain in their relationships that they're not getting enough sex from their wives. Now, and most relationships that we know of, probably, I can't speak for everybody, but most relationships that I know of, I'll just put it like that. Normally in the beginning of a relationship, the start of a relationship, you start off hot and heavy, fucking all the time. Okay, cool. All right. As things progress, you may not have sex as much. It's not, and it may not have anything to do with your attraction to each other, whatever. It's just that life happens. And although you may have prioritized the whole physical thing in the beginning of a relationship, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue on that path. But maybe if too much time is passing where you're not getting any physical pleasure, and it doesn't always have to be sex. There are other forms of act right. But a lot of women will tell you that, oh yeah, my man, he needs some act right. So act right could be sex, vaginal, or it could be oral. Oh, I know what to do. Might have to get on your knees tonight, ma. He needs some act right. He ain't been getting no act right. He shouldn't have to not getting enough act right. What y'all know? What do y'all know? How you feeling? Yo, T Carry, right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. Dimples D's. Dimples D's, what's good, man? How you feeling? Good to see me some you, always. Always good to see me some y'all. All right, so we are talking about not getting enough act right. Are you getting enough act right? Are you? Are you? And is it really act right? Like when you get the things that you're looking for, that you're asking for, that you've been desiring or whatever, do you start to act better? And then I guess probably the better question would be is when you're not being satisfied in some way, when you're not being provided for in the way that you've been looking for to be provided for, do you start acting up? Do you start sabotaging shit? You know, won't talk right, won't cooperate. Because that's what the act wrong is all about. When somebody isn't cooperating, when somebody is going against the grain, against the rules, they are misbehaving, they are being disruptive. And maybe they need some act right. Hopefully, some act right works. There are different forms of act right. Which different forms of act right are there? What forms of act right do y'all know about? What forms of act right do y'all know about? I mean, I can think of a few. We was already talking about, sex in a relationship, sex in a marriage or whatever. You know what I mean? You ain't been giving your man, you ain't been, tightening your man up on the physical side of things. He been having to go in the bathroom with a jar of lotion, with a bottle of lotion, and take matters into his own hands, literally. Your man has been having to go into the bathroom with a jar, with nothing but his phone and a bottle of lotion. Do you think he's going in there to exfoliate? Do you think he's going to... Is he going into the bathroom because he's ashy? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He could be going in there to wash up. You gonna go in there to wash up and smooth down at the same time? You a little ashy in the shower. You know what I mean? We got hard water in the crib, baby. We got hard water. So when I go in the bathroom, I gotta take my lotion with me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Got calluses on my head. I got you know what I mean? I'm gonna go file him down. I'm gonna file him down. Well, why didn't you take why didn't you take the nail file in the bathroom? Oh, it's one in the drawer. It's already one in there. It's already one in there. That act right. Cheryl Halsey, what's good? How you feeling, Ma? Good to see me some you always. You already know. So we talking about not getting enough act right. So if your man hasn't been getting the physical pleasure, and it could be women too. There are plenty of women out there that are not getting, women like sex just as much as men do. Women like sex just as much as men do. Actually, I think when sex is good, women like sex more than men do. Way more, I would say. Way more. Like a lot of men think that they have a high sex drive until they deal with a woman who has a high sex drive. They are not the same. Because women don't have a refractory period. They could just go and go and go and go. Some women. Now, that's not everybody. We're not all built the same. Dimples D says inconsistent effort or commitment and sometimes lack of respect. Okay, so what's the act right? What's the formula? Are you what's the form of act right? Because the act right is that's the repair mechanism. That's the fix-a-flat. I mean, if you want to take it to a mechanical thing, let's say you have a car with a particular mechanical issue. That shit ain't going to just magically get better. So you may have to take it to the mechanic so it'll finally run the way that it's supposed to run. The act right for a tire that has a slow leak is a patch or a plug or a new tire. That's the act right. So in order to enact some act right, in order to implement, infuse some act right on something that has been acting wrong, you have to do something. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So when you haven't been getting enough act right, like if a man says he ain't been getting enough act right, he is acknowledging that, you know, he might have been a little grumpy, a little irritable, a little short with people, a little, you know, he ain't been his normal jovial, happy, cooperative self. And it could be because he has a buildup of ejaculation that hasn't been released. He got too many socks in the drawer. Huh? There are too many socks in the drawer. He can't close the drawer right. Huh? Huh? Too many shirts in the closet. No room. No room for any more shirts. Can't get no more hangers in the closet. So, you know. Yeah, too many socks in the drawer. You got to take some of the socks out so you can close the drawer. Speaking of drawer, door. You got a door that's squeaky. A door that's squeaky. That shit is acting like an alarm every time somebody come in the house. What does it need? It needs some oil. This ain't hard. This math easy. It needs some oil. Yo, it's a hot one today. It is hot outside today, man. Please be careful while y'all outside today. Anybody and everybody who has to go outside, if you are on my side of town or if you're in my neck of the woods, you got to be careful today. Yeah, it's a scorch up out there. Currently, I don't always do the weather. It's 90 right now. It's 90 right now, sir or ma'am. And it's only going down into the like high 70s. And that's like 2 a.m. It's going to be hot tomorrow too. So today is the first day of summer officially. Ain't that some shit? Spring is gone, y'all. And it may feel like you missed it. Yeah, TK Wright says, slide some oil to me. The Wiz, right. Slide some oil. Norris Hill, my brother from another mother. Norris Hill, sit back, relax, do your thing, max and chill. And he says 92 in Coles, Ohio. Coles, Ohio. Columbus. Got you, son. You know what I mean? I got to get it right. In Columbus, Ohio, 92. That's we talk about out there in the Midwest. Who says the sun don't shine in the Midwest? It do. And my brother just told you. And I know he not lying because he's my brother, and my brother don't be lying. So, yeah, that act right. That act right. You know what I mean? Not getting enough act right. There are a lot of men right now thinking like, man, you know what I mean? Rolling the dice. Tonight, will she give me some? It's a Saturday night. It's hot in the crib. I mean, oh yeah. You know, when the sexual part of a relationship breaks down, it's not always the end of the world. But to act like it's not symbolic of something, I think is irresponsible. And I think you will get reminded in some type of way. You know, you know, there are people who try to dumb down the importance of sex, but it doesn't always have to be sex. It doesn't have to always be sex. When you know that you're the person that you're with needs certain things, you also know if you have been fulfilling those needs or if they haven't. I mean, or if you haven't, you know, maybe time constraints, a busy schedule, your own stress, depression, you know, your own muck and mire that you have been stuck in. Maybe that has been preventing you from being the best that you know you could be in your relationship. If your man needs certain things, maybe he likes to watch movies, maybe he likes to play video games, maybe he needs a massage every now and then. Maybe you dealing with a longer hair type dude. He got braids or something. Act right for him could be getting his scalp greased, tightening up his braids. You know what I mean? He looking like Meek Mill in 2007. Now, if you from Philly and you follow Philly battle rap and you know Meek Mill before the fame, you know that was a dusty braided motherfucker. He was dusty. He looked dirty. He looked like he was going to be rhyming grimy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, are those braids or are they dreads? Because they well on their way. But it could be a massage. It could be the good word. Have you ever been in a situation with a lover, a friend, or a spouse where they need constant communication, and so you haven't been providing constant communication, and a lot of times in relationships, when the communication breaks down, a person can start to believe that things have changed for the negative in that relationship. So even though nothing bad is being said, silence can be deadly. You know, silence can be golden and silence can be deadly. But a lot of times when nothing is being said and ain't no sound coming through, it's just like in the beginning of the show. You see me up here performing, but you didn't hear no sound. You ain't hear no sound. Something is wrong. Need to plug that mic in, baby. The mic need to be plugged in. I had to look and make sure that we good. Double D says values based on action. My act right. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's your act right? Okay. That sounds easy. That sounds like a workable get right. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes with some people, the get right ain't really that easy. When you know that when you have been doing something for somebody that and they like what you have been doing for a long time, and then you stop doing whatever that is cold turkey without any plans or any indication that you're going to restart it. That's a communication breakdown, and that can start the act wrong process. If you care about somebody, why wouldn't you try to get them with the act right? Now, here's the thing. When it comes to this act right situation, is it the fault of the person who ain't acting right, or the fault of the person who hasn't been given the act right? You know that the plants or the flowers that grow in your house or in your garden, you know that they need light. All right, naturally, the sun takes care of that. But they may need water. If you live in a region where those plants aren't exposed to a lot of water, or you don't get a lot of rain, what do you expect those plants to do? So if you have a plant that's wilting, or flowers that are wilting, you make the act right is the water. The plants or flowers aren't acting wrong for wilting, they dying. The act right is the water, the light in the water. It ain't hard. It's very consistent across the whole world, all of nature. No light, no water, the plant ain't gonna grow, it's gonna die. So you wanna get your plants back intact? Add water. Of course, don't overwater them, but add water, make sure they have sufficient light, and they will grow and be beautiful and provide the oxygen that you need. So the overall health of all people involved is good. It's improved across the board. You ain't gonna last too long, sexy bueno. You ain't gonna last too long. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. So when people troll, when trolls start trolling, what's the act right for them? Either time them out or get them up out of the channel. Well, no, getting them out of the channel ain't the act right, because that's final. But timing them out, that might be the act right. Like, oh, I don't get to play. Like a troll with no audience. A troll with no audience. What you got? What do you have? Damn it. Now, that lets you know that I was busy, too busy to do what I was supposed to this morning. Because even though I like tea with lemon or tea with honey or whatever, I can't drink tea without no lemon in it. It has to have some lemon in it. So, although I could drink this tea without lemon because it's pretty good, I like it with the lemon. So I guess you could say the lemon is the act right for me. It's the act right. It's the taste right. It's the thing that's going to have this party on board the way it's supposed to be. It's going to have this thing the way it's supposed to be, the way that I like it. The lemon is the act right. It's the missing ingredient. It's the missing ingredient, baby. Okay, good. So we scrape. We scrape it and scrape. Okay. Trying to make sure I ain't miss nobody. We good. All right. So yeah. So the act right is that's the repair mechanism. That's the thing that's going to get everything back on track. So if you know that somebody they need constant communication, or they need words of encouragement, or maybe even a little kick in the ass, maybe not physically, but maybe a verbal kick in the ass. Like, you know how people will say things like, yo, somebody need to tell such and such that the shit that they've been doing ain't right, or it ain't cool, or it's not helpful, or it's bringing things down, or they messing up. Somebody need to tell them. So the act right might be that. The act right might be a verbal reprimand. The act right might be like, okay, everybody tiptoeing around this motherfucker, like, you know, or this chick, like, like they can't be corrected or whatever, or they trying to protect their feelings so much, so they letting them mess up everything for everybody. Well, I'm gonna say to them what needs to be said. So the act right could be verbal, like. So ain't nobody going to tell that ain't nobody going to say nothing about the fact that such and such been eating all the snacks, or they've been using at work. There can be a lot of get right. So in the break room at work, people been using the microwave with uncovered food or whatever, and so that shit splash all in the microwave, and makes everybody else not really want to use the microwave because it look dirty, look nasty. You know, people don't like to put their food or warm their food up in places that look nasty. You know, nobody want to do that shit. You know how people are. Stacy White, what's good? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. But yeah. So the act right in that situation might be like, yo, why don't you cover your food when you put food in the microwave? Somebody might not know. They might not know. So they didn't realize that they was the problem in the break room, using up all of the space in the refrigerator. Everybody keeps their food in this refrigerator, so when it's time for them to eat lunch, their stuff is nice and cold and stored. It ain't gonna spoil and all of that. But you taking up all of the space in the damn refrigerator, like this is your personal refrigerator. The act right might be somebody having to open their mouth. They might not realize that they violating, or maybe they think that they're entitled enough to get away with violating. Yeah, Norris says they want to fight when they get called out on it. Exactly. So a lot of times when people want to fight when they get called out on their bad behavior, or let's say, or they shit, when people get called out on their shit and then they want to fight and all that, that lets you know that maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe they was looking for a fight. You know, sometimes it be like that. Well, yeah, I'm gonna make them say something to me, or I'm gonna make them do something about me. Because I've been trying, you know, I don't have no respect. I don't have no respect for none of the for nothing that they doing or what's going on in here. I don't have no respect. So make me respect you. Make me. I bet you can't make me. Can you make me? No. My brother Troy McNeil, Troy Diesel. My man Troy Diesel is in the house. What's going on, my brother? How you feeling, my dude? Yeah, that lemon was definitely, it's the lime today, but that was definitely the act right. Now this shit tastes perfect. It tastes perfect. Yummy. Jihad. My brother Jihad is in the house. What's going on, man? All right, so we talking about not getting enough act right. Not getting enough act right. The act right is the thing that stops you from doing that old nut shit you've been doing. The crazy shit. The misbehaving shit. The ignorance. You know? The disrespectful stuff. Sometimes you may be acting out or acting up and you don't really realize the impact that it has on somebody else. But if it goes on long enough, then it almost seems like that's the norm, or that's the way to do, or like it's okay. Like that's okay. So what's the act right? Is it a verbal reprimand? Is it somebody taking away your privileges? You take away somebody's privileges, that's normally the act right. At work. Ain't it funny how at work, the act right can be either a verbal reprimand, or it could be a write-up, or it could be a suspension. A verbal reprimand, which is basically a warning, which can sometimes be a written verbal, a written verbal, or then you have a written warning. And then that can either, depending on how your job is set up, it could either be a suspension after that. Like I worked on jobs where it was a union job where you first had a verbal warning, then you had a written warning, and after that you had a 5-day suspension if you kept doing what you were doing. So within a year, 5-day suspension. You keep fucking up, 10-day suspension. So the act right was, all right, now you ain't making no money. Now you got to think about the psychological nature of suspending somebody from the job. Because I'm thinking, remember, the job hires you for them to make money. But their punishment or act right towards you is taking away your money. But they make more than you. So is suspending you hurting them more or hurting you more? Well, they got a lot more money than you do, right? So it's probably hurting you more directly, but at the same time, they are still hurting themselves. But they on their way to completing the process of getting you on up out of here. Because after that 10-day suspension, it's termination. Now, of course, you can go to arbitration. You can petition, appeal, and all of that. But the way that it's supposed to go was verbal, written, 5-day suspension, 10-day suspension, termination. That's it. And a lot of people the people that they didn't like, they got them on up out of there after that 10-day suspension. I'm not even gonna lie. If I got suspended for 10 days on my job, I'm looking for another job. Because if I got all the way up to a 10-day suspension from a verbal, it's already indicating that I don't really want to work here. And I ain't doing, unless somebody is setting me up for failure, so I don't feel like I should have deserved any or all of these write-ups. Maybe in that regard, I might go ahead and fix it or fight. But the 10-day suspension, you know that the termination is coming after that. So if somebody been setting me up to fail and I've been falling into that trap all the way up to a 10-day suspension, then I might as well just go ahead and start looking for another gig. I might as well get on my career builder, my monster.com, my indeed.com. It's time. It's time, sir. That writing is on the wall, and that's some bright, pretty graffiti. But unlike graffiti, this shit is easy to read. Jihad says it's hurting their production, but hurting our pockets. You can tell that this man has worked on jobs, probably union jobs, so he knows. Let me find out you a shop steward or something. Let me find out my brother is a shop steward or some shit. You know what I mean? Or manager. You know what I'm saying? Managers be mad as shit. Like, why can't we just fire this motherfucker? You know, he dead wrong. Why do I have to go to a union? Why do I got to go to a union rep and this motherfucker threw a punch at me? What's that? What are we litigating? The motherfucker ain't no good, son. All right.
You have a call from
Troy.
My brother Troy, what's good? How you feeling this afternoon, my brother? What's up with you?
So blessed by the best, ain't taking those meds, trying to get rid of stress. Just sitting here taking a rest.
Wow, bizarres. Hold on. Let me shoot at him.
One more. I learned from the best.
Shoot at him. Shoot at him. Shoot at him. Get him, Troy. Get him, Troy. They running. They running.
What's going on, live stream family?
Yo, man, I'm feeling like a real man should. Everything is good. Everything is good. So we talking about this not getting enough act right. Now you can say act. Now, have you heard of this term before?
Well, yes, I heard of the term before. Act right. When I first heard of the term, it was act right for your children, making sure, making sure they was disciplined the right way, or how you deal with them situations. Like, well, I never forgot when I was looking at the movie with the biker boy.
Yeah.
And Lorenz Tate told the other characters, well, you need some act right. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, we went old school on his ass.
So have you heard? So have you primarily or predominantly heard it? Said good. Act right or get right. I've heard both.
I heard both, but the main one I heard the most was act right.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I got you.
Right.
I got
you. Need to act right. I think when you was first talking about James Evans, he sometimes he just used the belt, threatened them with the belt to get them in line. The majority of times he didn't whoop that. He didn't really put the belt to ass. But the episode I remember the most was when Mike was being bullied by the bull, by the street thug, and he brought him to stay the night. He was helping him with his homework and everything, and becoming friends with him. And James was like, he just pulled me from that. I'm gonna take his ass to the room. And he whooped his ass.
He whooped that ass.
Now that's some decent act, right? Because at the end of the day, he needed. Like even with my children, I just don't jump. I might threaten with them. Y'all keep doing this, man. Please don't make. My favorite thing to say is, please don't make me do something that I do not want to do. Because I don't think any parent wants to discipline whether they boys or they girls. But at the end of the day, when it gets to the point where they're taking advantage and taking that for granted, then you got to think, like I told y'all the story about my son when he disrespected a woman, not just a teacher, but a woman teacher. So he took it to the extreme where it was like almost like nuclear war, like DEFCON 5. I had to push the red button. He took it to the act right and beyond. It was act right. It was act right pie to the fifth power.
He said pie. You going mathematical on him, huh?
Yeah, I had the geometry. It was act right geometry, trigonometry, and all that geometry.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. But yeah,
because and I didn't want to do it. But if I didn't do it after that, because my grandfather always told me, respect women, don't put your hand on women. And if you put your hand on a woman, I'm going to whip your ass. But this time it was a girl. So, and I always preach that to my sons. Don't never disrespect a woman. If you got to go back and forth, walk away, wait to common heads prevail, and then come talk to them with a non-stressed mind. And I told my sons that. But this one right here, he went above and beyond, so I had to push the red button.
Okay.
So and with my daughters, I just threaten them. I give them a look. You know what I mean?
And that was the
act
right.
When you do that, you try to take things for them, but that's not taking things. There's a difference between black and white discipline. We can't tell. I'm not going to tell William to go sit down and go in a corner like John or John would say, Billy, go stand in the corner. We don't do that. They call him Billy. And when we get mad, we call him William. William, you're Will, get your ass over here. Let me talk to you. You know what I mean? And then we switch it. And, the tone of the voice is the tone of the discipline. I told you, at some point I told you I was going to do this, right? I asked you, I begged you not to let me do this. Take them pants down, bro. I'm talking about just my pants on, underwear too, bro. Gotta take care of this. You know what I mean? About the ass. You know what I mean? Now, that's not the ass is not the bad thing, but the way my son got it, he got the water, then belt the ass. I see. I'm looking at your face, and while I'm looking at the TV, and it's like, damn, you gave him the wet whip, Troy? Yes, the wet whip.
No, that ain't what my face is like this for.
He deserved it. Anytime you tell a woman teacher, if you put your hands on me again, bitch, I'm gonna punch you in your fucking mouth. That's grounds for the wet whip, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm not disputing that.
You know, now had he just said get off of me or something like that, because in the heat of a fight, you say things out your mouth. Hell, when Freddie Harvey was beating my ass up, he beat my ass up so bad I called my sister a bitch.
What a response to that.
No, now my act right came when she called my grandfather.
Okay.
And he came and beat my ass. So okay. I got a 2-for-1 special. But then his act right to me after beating my ass was giving me $10 to go get some shrimp fried rice and Coke.
Well, he was consistent. No, what I was thinking about was it's so funny how we credit white people with being so gentle and understanding with their kids. Like they ain't the most brutal people on this earth.
Most definitely.
I mean, why we be acting like white people don't whoop ass?
Because it's not posted. It's not talked about.
If you ever knew any white people, you ever been over their cribs, you know they what? You know what I mean? Maybe on TV, they Ward Cleaver and Ward and Gene Cleaver or whatever, Joan or whatever.
Van Dyke and all of them.
But in real life, shit, they get they. I mean, come on, man. I mean, listen, Walmart should have should have exposed the truth with all white people by now, because for some reason Kmart didn't do it. And maybe it's because Kmart wasn't out during the internet age enough. But Walmart, yeah, you found out the truth. Now, so if you were a black person or whoever who wasn't raised around a lot of white people or wasn't exposed to them on the home front, yeah, you might think that they don't get they whoop on, but they do. But I will say that my stepmom, she did foster the stereotype, because I don't think that she ever put hands on my little sister, and my little sister definitely had it coming, and because as an adult she was mad disrespectful towards my dad, and I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? What? Don't nobody else talk to him like that? Why is she doing it? Oh, I know why she's doing it. That was the trade-off. I mean, it's a lot to that. But yeah, I know my stepmom never put her hands on my little sister. And that I didn't, I don't believe in spankings or ass whoopings as a first response.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it as a first response.
That's not the first go-to. It's like going fishing. You give them room to keep to get on the hook. Sometimes you just it's tones and voice. First time is, do me a favor, stop that. Don't do that, please. Second time is, yo, don't do that. Third time is, yo. Fourth time is, yo. Get the fuck over here now. Everything is tone of voice. I asked you to put the trash out last week on time. You put the trash out on time, you missed the trash. That's one. Second week, yo, did I just tell you to put the fucking trash out? Third week, yo, put the fucking trash out. Fourth week, because you just go in the room and that's it. Just start hitting.
I think that was too many weeks.
See? But that's me. See, people would think that I just go straight to the ass whooping. No, I don't.
No, it ain't have to be the ass whooping first, but the tone of the voice after the first trash didn't get put out. That's straight. I know me. I'm straight to like, yo, the trash. What happened? Because the next week, yo, the fucking trash. So it ain't gonna be no third week. You know what I mean? I'm not quick to lay hands at all.
So what's the third week?
I've never reached the third week. You know, kids don't fuck around with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you know, I'm not the gentle voice boy. Yeah, I'm straight. Yo, cut it the fuck out. Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? And that's male or female. I don't play with kids because I know they gotta learn, and kids have to learn fast. Like, so I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you get in the water. I'm not gonna let you drown before I teach you how to swim. So, but hold on.
I'm sorry.
One thing I do totally believe in is giving an explanation. I'm not one of those adults or parents that won't explain things. So after I explain it and I let you know why this is important or how come this leads to that, this is why we have to do this. Now you taking your fate into your own hands after that. Because you can't say that I just said it just to say it, or that I wanted it my way just because I wanted it, even though in some circumstances that's okay too. You know what I mean? But I gave you what you needed in order to understand the reason why this needs to be done. Now, you continue to disobey or whatever after that. All right, well then you pretty much are saying that you consider yourself to be my equal and you don't think I'm gonna do nothing to you. So my pop, like I said, my pop didn't whoop ass, but you know what he would do? If you got a little too spirited, you got a little too wild, you were a little unruly, my pop would grab a handful of stomach and grab your whole midsection like he had a handle on it, like that shit was a kettlebell. And he would squeeze. And you could feel your power meter going down like you was playing Street Fighter. And the whole time, he's either doing something else, like, cause he got your whole shit. You what? I'm what, like 3, maybe 3 feet, 3.5 feet, 4 feet tall. And he's 5'11 and a half, as he used to say. I never heard nobody describe their height as 5'11 and a half, but that's what he used to say. He's 5'11 and a half, and he got a handful. He had strong ass hands, and he had long nails. And them shits was thick and strong. And he had a handful of stomach. And you just, after he let go, you was done.
Yeah, go to bed. Yeah.
Yo, you ready? The mental beating. Hold on a second. Good looking, man. Thank you. Yeah, the mental toll that it took on you. He didn't yell.
I thought a spider had got on you.
All right. The mental toll that it took on my little 7, 8, or 9-year-old ass, because he didn't raise his voice. You didn't see it coming. He didn't reach for his belt. He didn't raise his hand. He caught you, boom. You know what I mean? On some old kung fu. You know how you had to catch the thing in your hand or whatever. Yeah, he got you, boom. And you like,
Because you got your spirit in his hand. Yeah.
And he didn't say shit. You're like, remember, my dad was a hypnotist. So, like, all that talking. You know what it is. Like, you feel my energy coming through my hand. Now, if I can stop your whole world with just the grip of your stomach, imagine how far I could throw you. Imagine if I'm gripping the belt, you can't even move or get away. I done already drained your whole power meter. Nigga, you on 0. Man, I left you about 1. You got enough to go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? Piss, shit, wash your face, get your ass in the bed, or like what I would do. Like, he was my best friend after that. I'm sorry, Dad. He's like, it's all right. Yeah. So that was my get right though. Boom. And it wasn't, I don't remember being disrespectful or nothing. I was moving around too much, like a gnat. Like an 8-year-old gnat. Like, oh, I'm doing something right. Oh, fuck. Know what I'm saying? A moth to a flame, baby. Moth to a flame. But that was, you know what I'm saying? The act right, it was accurate. He got it. But he knew I didn't want to disappoint him. So that was also the act right.
Mm-hmm.
He knew I didn't want to be bad. I didn't want him, you know what I mean? I loved him. I respected him. He knew it. So he also knew that, all right, this is my little man. This is my love. This is my heart. I named the whole business after this little motherfucker. But you know what? Boom. He got to get this. But it worked every time on some Colt 45, you know, Billy D. Williams shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was my act right.
Yeah, like you went on to talk about act right in a relationship. You know, my act right in a relationship is not physical or verbal. My act right is I just shut down. Let me just don't say much. Because if I can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all.
But how was that? I mean? How was that your act right?
Because I know that one thing about it is that in my relationship or in a relationship I've been in, because you know the formerly known part is right there right now. But the relationships I've been in, when I speak the reality of the situation, people have a tendency not to want to hear the reality. They just want to say that you're wrong, but don't want that other finger pointing back at them either. Them other 3 fingers point back at them when you're saying, well, you're saying that I'm wrong, but you're creating what's going on. There's nothing, I'm not doing anything to create this wrongness, you know, and make things bad for you. But what you're doing is you're creating the fire, and I'm just going to add to this fire. So when I add to the fire, you know my slogan, why am I getting burnt? And you over in the corner just putting butter on your finger while I got 3rd and 4th degree burns from the shit that you got to do. Now you want to get all overly active. And then her act right is, now you want to now what you want to do is take away, you know, the intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how a relationship goes. You don't use sex as a tool to take away from any relationship. You know, because when you use something, if you use sex and you use sex as a tool to take away from relationship when y'all go through something, that man's going to slip off and go to somebody else at some point in time.
Maybe not.
You know, and I mean, I say from a scale of 1 to 10, I say it's about a 7 that men will go out and slip out. Because if you're doing it at a high frequency, it's going to become tiresome. You know, and it's just like women become vulnerable, men become vulnerable too. You know, you can't just sit back and just keep doing that to a man and think that you're just gonna, and then that's gonna be his act right. His act right gonna be, oh, okay. You want to take that? All right, well, I'm gonna give you some act right too.
Here's what I think you're missing. The act right is a way to repair it. It's not a form of rebellion. The act right act is supposed to work. So when
Okay.
that's
Well,
why they call it that's why they
I
call it
always
act
thought that
right.
there was a negative side, and a positive side of act right.
Well, I don't see how it can be because the act right is supposed to fix the act out. When somebody's acting out, that means they're acting up. You know what I'm saying? So you get them to act right because the right makes it. Damn, Troy dropped. I don't know if I did it. I don't know if he did it. But the word right in act right is supposed to. All right. Get him
You
back
have a
in here.
call from.
So
Yo, was it you or me?
I think it might have been both one of the other. I don't know what it was.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I was saying, the right, the word right
The
and act
is
right.
supposed to be a form. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So like if you know, like
I'm just misconstruing things at some point.
well, I understand where you was coming from, but you know, we as long as you know that the act right is supposed to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your response to, it's not your rebellion or matching energy. It's actually supposed to fix it. So look, your man, you know what I mean? A woman looking at like, oh, my man needs his dick sucked or something like that. Or he needs some pussy because he ain't had. I know, you know, we haven't been physical in a while or whatever, and you know, he getting a little antsy. You know what I mean? He a little irritable. He a little built up. Yeah, I seen him going in the bathroom with a bottle of lotion.
Let's just say the slogan. If he needs, if you don't give him no act right, he's gonna act out.
Okay, cool.
You know,
cool.
That shit is when men.
But the thing, but hold on. The thing is, do you? How often do you need to use the act right? Are you using the act right? To fix the situation so it'll stay right. So that means that you have to keep doing what you was doing, or are you using the act right to just to get out of this sticky situation that you're in for the moment? You know what I mean? It can't be you like you see. All right. I don't want to speak for women because you never know what's going on in their head. So I'm gonna speak for a man. If you know your woman, you know you haven't taken her out in a while. You haven't done anything sweet for her. You haven't even been talking sweet. Maybe work has you down. Maybe the stresses of family and finances and things just haven't had you where you supposed to be, and it's also affecting her because some men have women that hold them down constantly, but that can be a heavy load to carry too. So maybe a man's act right for his woman might be some flowers, might be some candy, might be a night on the town. You know, we yo, you know what I mean? Be ready tonight because we dating tonight. You know what I'm saying? We want to take in a movie and get some dinner. You know what I mean? Take a walk, take a stroll through the well-lit park and some shit. You know what I mean? That might be the act right. That might be the spark that she needed to stop bitching, to stop complaining, to stop, sometimes like not all women shut down everything or fuck up everything when they get upset. Sometimes they cries are legit. Sometimes they cries are legit. I know I'm not an easy motherfucker to deal with, so sometimes I might put a little bit too much on them. You know what I mean? And the rubber band gonna pop after a while. So you know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand the source of the act wrong before you can put in the act right. So if you only trying to put that Band-Aid or that bandage on a gunshot wound, that ain't it. Mm-hmm. That ain't it. So, communication is paramount. But you've been with somebody long enough, you know what they like. So have you not been doing what they like on purpose, or have you been doing it by mistake? If If it's by mistake, then you shouldn't have no problem doing the act right or identifying it.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been doing it on purpose, ain't no act right because you doing it on fucking purpose.
That's the truth.
So yeah. So what's the act right for you? Because you've been disruptive, dismissive, and on some bullshit on purpose. So what's the act right? The act right for you might be somebody breaking up with you. The act right for you might be revoking your privileges. Well, yeah, tell you what. Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead. You know, there are plenty of women out here who will not withdraw sex under any circumstances. They're like, nah, you my man. You can go ahead and stick it in, but guess what? I won't be participating. You just gonna go ahead and get your shit off, and I'm not giving no head. You can get ass, no head. You know, all kinds of shit. But you have to. There has to be some kind of accountability somewhere along the line. And since we talking about this act right, what are you doing to fix the situation? Because that's the act right.
I'm catching. I'm catching what you're throwing at me, bro.
Okay, cool.
You know, yeah. I mean, I can understand that.
So yeah. So like at the job, when you get suspended or you get written up, that's the act right. Because you know you on your way to losing your job. Now, if you okay with that, then the act right is still exactly. But the act right is still right because
But you said something earlier. You said something that one thing you said this motherfucker punched me in my face.
Oh yeah, physical violence can be an effective form of act right.
No, what I'm saying is that what is this a threat on a job? And the person that didn't get no act right. The person that threatened you didn't get no act right.
That you might have to give it to him yourself.
I had a situation like that where I got threatened on a job, and since I was in a supervisor position, they didn't give him no act right, not even a suspension. They gave him a final write-up. But lo and behold, they gave me a final write-up because I didn't want to sit down with the situation because they didn't handle the situation right. You know, at any other job that was ran correctly, that anytime somebody threatens you, they're immediately terminated.
Right.
You know, but not at this job I was at. At this job I was at, it led to me getting a final write-up. I didn't get a verbal. I didn't get a warning 1, 2, or 3. I just got final write-up. And they wanted to demote me from my position. And I didn't even do anything wrong. I followed the protocol. You know, but since the other boy was able to lie and everything, it was still, to this day, it still bothers him to me. And he's still working there.
Yeah,
he's still working it.
Yeah. Yeah, when shit like that happens, when you have tried to do the right thing and that has failed, and like a case like that where you got let go from a job and somebody and the real perpetrator is still there. Yeah, that you can't be expected to just shake that off and act like that wasn't, you can't be that's not a realistic expectation. Yeah, I would be salty as shit too. And
that's the thing about it. And then you sit back around, and in your mind, that's all these situations. The old me would have waited and would have went out there when it got dark. So they'd see that black on, sat out there like a spiked bat, and just fucked him up when he came out the door. But this me right here, I got to sit back and realize, you know what? Maybe I go to the spiritual side of certain situations that time. Maybe God got something better for me. Because at the end of the day, when I got to think about it in that way, because I know what I'm going to do, and I know where my mind can take me at.
Mm-hmm.
that act right would have been devious and real bad for him. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it would have resolved it for me, but it would have been bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the thing about it. You know, some jobs write you up in hopes of you being better at what you're doing, but they don't look at the situations that create them having to write you up, and that's their form of act right. You know, you're in a position where you at, and you got in the position you at, you have to be stern, and you have to write people up when they don't do right. And I can imagine when you give them that act right, how they feel as though they want to act right, but they act wrong.
Yeah. The thing is, like even as a manager, writing people up is not my first line of defense. It's actually, you know, you might say that I've dragged my feet on that because I don't really like to see people lose their jobs. And if I see some good in you, I try to work with that. So my act right is normally a talking to, a coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like let me holler at you, like, you know, get you by yourself and ask them, yo, what's going on with you? What's going on here? Because I know you can do better than this. I seen you. So what's causing this? You know what I mean? And that's my technique with most things that are not going right in my life. You know, I talk, but I normally try to get here, because wherever there is act up or act out, there's something here. Something has become unplugged. There's something going on in the background, and it's affecting here. So somebody might not be able to fight what's going on at home. They might not be able to fight what's going on in the streets. They may have some personal issue that's going on, and they come to the place where they feel like they can fight, or they feel like they can beat up on something, or treat something like a punching bag or whatever. And so they've decided to act out. So if you can normally catch that place where that dark place where a lot of people are, you can normally fix things. And it's a better way to build a bridge between the two of y'all. I've done this with people.
And I think that's how when I'm in a position like that, I do the same thing. I try to, I always try to tell people, when I get jobs and I have conversations with me, and I say, the only thing I ask is that if you have any discrepancies with me, you pull me in the office and have a conversation with me. Don't reprimand me in front of my peers.
I have never really had a problem with anybody one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Because when you reprimand a person in front of their peers, it's not going to go good.
Well, what about when they disrespect you in front of your peers or their peers?
Well, even if you're in a supervisor position, if they do that, then the only opportunity you have to go to is a write-up.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, no. If I'm a supervisor and I ask to speak to you in the office and you disrespect me in front of your peers, no, I'm not letting that go. Because if I let that go, you'll do it again. I'm not giving you a verbal. I'm not giving you all that. I'm going to give you a write-up. Because that's what you start. You start when I ask to speak to you in the office in a respectful way. The way you, just like the guy I was just talking about, I said, can I speak to you in the office real quick? I ain't got to fucking talk to you, dog. Who the fuck you think you... No, I don't care what you going outside this building. What's going on outside this building is what you're going through. When you come in here, I was always told, hang that shit at the door. There's a respect level we talk to as men. When you cross that line of respect, then I can't let that slide. If I'm talking to you, sir, let's talk. Can I speak to you in the office, please? And you come off in a disrespectful way, then my act right is to have to write you up for this.
No, I understand that, because I got into a situation like that before, where this cat was openly disrespectful, in front of a bunch of other employees. He really took it there. I said, okay. I said, I called him into the office like, yo, let me holler at you for a minute. Nah, I ain't coming in there. You ain't got nothing to say to me. I ain't got nothing to say to you. I said, listen, if you don't come in here and talk to me now, you're not going to like what happens after that.
There you go.
He chose not to, but he thought about it. He thought about it because I went in the office and now it ain't no stopping because I'm going through the full process. So I went through so I already, I was already on my way to, I'm writing him up, but I'm not stopping there because this is bigger than a write-up.
It's subordination.
Yeah, man, and it's not the first incident or whatever. And so, so it pushed it all the way because he had more to lose than I did. You know what I mean? He was he had just got promoted to foreman and all of that shit. And I was instrumental in that happening. But now you giving me your ass to kiss. Like, okay. All right. So I got the process started and it wasn't stopping. So he came in there trying to cop a plea. Well, I'm like, nah, we good now. We already good because I already called your union rep, and I'm good and I was good with the union vice president, union president. So we ain't no stopping this at all, and it didn't. Mm-hmm. When we went to arbitration and all of that shit, the union rep was on. The union rep was like, well, y'all made him a foreman, and it looks like y'all might have made the wrong choice. That hurt that boy to his heart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because any problem he had with me after that, it was going to go my way. So that was absolutely my act right with him. And he did. He act right. Now, he was salty because he could have prevented all of this shit. And I was on my way out the door anyway. So I could have really pushed the envelope. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, it was like, all right, Mr. McIntyre, we don't have to go over that part. I said, no, we do. Mm-hmm. We do.
That shit is done. In the move beyond everything else.
No, the reason that they didn't want to the boy called me a fucking what did he say? A yes man? No. He said that he wasn't no house slave. He was a field slave. I was like, they didn't. That shit was so fucking. Look.
He still realized he's still a slave.
The thing is, business wise, that was sudden death. All characters involved was black. And so that shined that light on how we do each other. Me ain't had no beef. It wasn't this ain't no street shit. You know what I mean? I'm not with your girl with your ex and no. There ain't none of that. What are you doing? You ain't no house slave. So that means you a field slave. And so who might be the house slave? So they wanted me to just keep that part out of the. I was like, nah. I said, the ironic thing, they was like, come on, Mr. McIntyre. I said, nah. Because this need to be said. Because if it don't get said now, it won't get said later. And nobody will this would be like a stone that went unturned or a chapter in the book that was left out. I said, You know, for you to say that you wasn't no house slave, but we work in housekeeping.
Mm.
What did you think house slaves did for a living? They, they was, everybody's like, when I say heads was in hands, it was like, I was like, what did you think house slaves did? They didn't work in housekeeping, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
This is housekeeping.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to get off subject, but that's the thing that takes me out because, you know, when I was the same place I was working at, this server, she was like in her 20s. She was like, around here, we look at you as a snitch. You a house nigga. I said, I'm surprised as a 27, 26-year-old, you know what I term my house nigga is, because I always just thought you was ratchet. You know. But let me ask you a question. Snitching in a place of business. Are y'all flipping keys in here?
Ain't that some shit?
I said, are y'all flipping keys in here, or is somebody? I got stacks of bundles of money in this motherfucker. I just want to know. I need to know what type of snitching I'm doing in a place of business, and I'm a supervisor. You know.
When it comes to that snitching at work shit, I'd be like, you know, I've asked on a number of occasions, like, do you have a business outside of here? And it'd be like, no. I mean, you know, I make money a little here and there, blah, blah. I said, okay. I said, well, wherever you make your money outside of here, do you appreciate when people come in and warn you about what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
As it's going to affect your bottom line, or your ability to make money and take care of your family, put food on your table, roof over your head, clothes on your back. And they think about it for a while. I was like, ain't no cops in here. The difference between
that's the whole thing I don't understand. That if I'm at a job, right? Love you, mama. What time you coming back? All right. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just takes me out because I just don't understand when you sit back and you call me a snitch or a house nigga, you know. And like I tried to explain, I said before I came to this job, all these people that want to sit back and say I'm a snitch and a house nigga had every opportunity to be in a position that I'm in. It's not the fact that I'm in a position; it's the fact that I know what I need to do in this kitchen. I love what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just here for a check, don't get mad at me. I'm here for a job. I'm here for the love of the craft because I lowball myself to come in here. But when you talk about snitching, no, snitching is me being in a position of I have to do my job. I'm not going to sit back and if I got to prep up, if I got to come in here after having 2 days off and prep up a whole damn breakfast station from scratch because the other one is bullshitting his whole day away, that's not snitching. That's letting them know, do your fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to get reprimanded by the chef or myself. And if you can't do your job, then leave. Don't come here for a fucking check. Love what you do what you love. It's not about the money all the time. You got to come in and do the job to earn your keep. You understand what I'm saying? So she said that to me. She started listening. She's like, yeah, you're right. I said, so do you still want to call me a house nigga? Because the things you do around here, I think a lot more things. And from what I heard, what you do upstairs in the hotel room with one of my cooks, I can go a little bit deeper than being just a house nigga. You know what I mean? Because my thing is, from what I heard, there's something strange being done for some change.
I'll tell you this.
I go for the juggler, and that's why I try my best to stay on a professional level with people. But, you know, act right can be in so many certain ways. Like you said, it's supposed to resolve things and make things better. But sometimes when you give a person some act right mind and you try to resolve it, they don't want to resolve it. They want to take things to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, but there is an act right for every situation. You might find it hard to identify it, but there's act right for every situation. So including yourself. I mean, there are areas in all of our lives where we're not up to speed, and sometimes the threat of losing that thing or having privileges taken away that will allow us to do better can be the spark that could make us act right, literally. But but you know, when that no snitching at work shit, I don't encourage co-workers to tell on each other. I really don't. I don't encourage that. And I don't heap any praise or give any extra appreciation to people who come back and tell me stuff about what coworkers are doing, because I'm not the one signing checks here. But the least you could do is keep that shit out of my my line of vision, out of my field of vision. Because if you can't do that, not only are you sloppy, but you're disrespectful towards me. Because it's almost like saying that you don't think I'm going to do anything about it, or I'm going to protect you. And neither one of those things are true. And on the streets, you watching out for the cops, but the cops didn't give you a job. You come into this job, they gave you a way to make money. The cops are taking your money away. They ain't giving you nothing. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. So when you talk about snitching at work, there is no snitching at work. Mm-hmm. You fucking up your money. Yeah, but you gotta understand, I'm stealing money. So if somebody tell on me, they messing up my ability to get money. Like, yeah, your priorities all fucked up. Somebody need to call the cops on you, dumbass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's the understanding. I don't encourage people, but if I'm in a position of, if I'm in a managerial position, or if I'm working in the same area you working in, and I have my 2 days off, and for about almost a month, every time I came in, I got to re-prep this whole station from scratch. Or when I come in, I look on the cart, and it's tomatoes, strawberries, and all this shit in here is molded out because you're not changing your pants around. At some point in time, it becomes tiresome. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's, you know, and you're gonna wind up getting somebody sick, and we're gonna all be out of a job. So I'm not gonna be the one sitting up here trying to do what I need to do to make sure everything cool with you if you're not doing everything to make sure I'm cool when I come in. So when I see shit, if I'm in the kitchen and I'm working and I'm in a position, like if I'm just in a regular cook position, I'm not gonna say nothing. But if it's a build up and I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting overly frustrated and tired of this shit, yo man, I'm gonna talk to him, yo. It's about the fourth week you done left me stranded with this prep.
Yeah.
And then if I told them that the next time, look, let me go have the conversation with the chef, man. But why? Come on, man. Stop it. It's the same thing you tell your kids. Please don't make me do something that I don't want to do. Why are you doing that? Stop creating bullshit. And then when the bullshit get worse, you want to make it, you want to sit back and say, it's my fault that I'm telling, but you didn't do your due diligence. And your due diligence is the fucking job. So my act right is, get your ass in the office and talk to that chef now. So when you come out and you don't want to say shit to me, when you try to say you, oh well.
Look, shit. What'd you say? I make motherfuckers that tried to pull that, I'm not speaking to you shit. I'm like, watch you do. You know what I mean? You don't have to, it don't have to be personal, but this ain't, first, you know, I be having to bite my tongue because I'll be like, now you acting like a little bitch. Yeah. All that, you know, not speaking to somebody. What the fuck you think that's doing to me? Mm-hmm. You're going to speak to me because you're going to need me before I need you. Watch. You know what I mean? You already needed me not to write you up. You already needed me not to get you in trouble. You're going to need me again to stay out of trouble because you're not eligible. You're not able to stay out of trouble. Trouble, that's you. But yeah, staying on track with the whole act right thing. There are so many ways you can identify exactly how to fix a situation if you really heighten or increase the expectations of yourself rather than those of somebody else. You never know what somebody else may be thinking or what they're going to do, but you can always know what you're going to do. Right. So sometimes in order to make one thing happen on this side, you have to do more on that side. Even if the more you do on the other side is in anticipation that you're not going to be able to fix things on the side that's messing up. I mean, it be like that sometimes. It's not a favorable situation. It's not anywhere where we want to be or think we should be. But hey, this shit happens. Not getting enough act right. When I wrote this show up, I'm thinking like, yeah, when you're not getting enough act right, you're looking for somebody to give you some act right. That you haven't. Let's say you haven't been acting up or you haven't been acting out, but on the inside you may feel like doing that. So and if you're still uncomfortable or uneasy on the inside, what good is that? What's that doing for you? That ain't doing nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Everything is in disarray. It's a mess. So
what takes me out is that when somebody acts wrong, and then they turn down and don't want to give you no act right. You understand what I'm saying? You can't create the situation. And then when that man, let's say like the woman can't create a situation, right? And then when she creates the situation and you try to resolve the situation, and she doesn't want to resolve the situation, you still want to act wrong. But when you try to go in for some act right, or you need some act right, they don't want to give you no act right because they still think they're still acting wrong about situations that they created. The resolving part can't be resolved because they're not willing to resolve it. So, and that's the part that sticks right there for me.
See, the thing is, if you haven't been acting wrong, how can you get some act right?
True. But see, when people have insecurities, they can create in their head that you're acting wrong. Am I correct on that?
Maybe.
They can create their own thought process of acting wrong. And if that's the case, and if that's how it goes, then that's not. I can't protect your heart or protect your insecurities if you're not willing to listen when that person says, "I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. It's not because of this. It's not because of that," and you keep escalating it up. It's like when you try to fix it, the goalposts get moved back. You fix it there. You're on the 20-yard line, then you're on the 40-yard line. After you got to the 30-yard line, and then you get to the 30-yard line, you get to the 50-yard line. You're never moving forward. You're never moving forward because the goalposts get moved back. Sometimes you need to, if you're not willing, if that person is acting wrong with what they're doing to create confusion, then ain't nowhere in the world you get that they're gonna act right. They ain't not gonna look at you and say, "No, I see he's stressed out. Especially if they're the one that's doing the stressing out."
But see, that's the thing. I don't believe that people do not know when they're doing when they fucking up or when they doing wrong.
There you go.
I've never believed that. You know, I think that people use bad behavior as a protective mechanism, and they stand by that shit often. So, like, one thing I never expect is I don't expect a person who has no guilt to feel guilt. A person who has no inhibitions, I don't expect them to feel embarrassment. How can you? You don't have no inhibitions. So anything goes. You're not, you're a selfish, entitled person. There's no guilt. You'll make other people feel guilty.
There you go.
But that fuels your messiness, all that negativity in your brain or whatever. It fuels that. So no, I don't expect. When you by yourself, and I know you understand this, and I understand this because we live alone. And when you live alone, you better be right in your mind and in your heart. Because when you live alone, there's nobody there to reinforce that fucked up shit you did was right. So, the way that you act in front of other people or whatever, you can always explain that shit away. Well, I did this because they did that in the third. But you know in your heart of hearts whether you were really doing shit in response, or let me put it this way, you knew whether you were playing offense or defense. In your heart of heart, you know you ain't been doing nothing but playing offense. You ain't played no defense. But you know everybody else don't know that shit. So you protect yourself that way. But when you by yourself, and this is why a lot of people can't stand being alone. Because they thoughts fucking haunt them. Like fucking wild gargoyles or ravens and shit pecking away at them. They can't deal with it. So they can't stand being alone. Gotta have people around them all the time. So they can kick that bullshit all the time. Even if it's just to get drunk or get high. So they can hide from the bullshit that they've been doing. So unfortunately, when you're dealing with people like that, the only act right for them can't be pleasure, gifts, treats, or satisfaction. It can't be. Because giving them what they ask for or even what they need is counterproductive, because that reinforces the bullshit that they've been doing. Hey, if I get rewarded for bad behavior, why would I be good? Being bad is the way. Look, every time I'm bad, look, I get more money. I get more treats. I get more gifts. I even get apologized to for doing the wrong thing. Look, why the fuck would I do the right thing? So for those types of people, punishment, revoking the privileges, or sometimes your presence that they have grown accustomed to, used to, or taken for granted, sometimes that's gotta go. That's gotta go. Hey, every parent knows once they get some experience under their belt, you let a child act up, spilling out on the floor, jumping up and down, stomping their feet, crying and all of that shit. You give them ice cream after that. You give them candy. You give them whatever satisfies them after that. Guess what's going to happen every time they don't get what they want? They're going to act a fucking ass every time because they've learned that's what works. Now, let them jump up and down, scream and holler and spill out on the floor. Leave the room, close the fucking door and lock them in that shit and let them yell and scream and all that shit to themselves. and don't answer them. Leave them in that bitch for an hour. More than likely 10, 20 minutes to do it.
Mm-hmm.
No audience. No fucking bullshit. I had a friend, and this example fucked me up. I had a friend who had a dog, and he kept the dog caged. He didn't let the dog run all around the apartment because it was kind of a big dog. He wasn't really trained that way or whatever. And I was over his crib one time, and the dog was barking and blah. You know, dog wanted to get out of the cage. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, personally, my thoughts are if you got to have your dog caged up all the time, then you shouldn't really have a dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's my personal thoughts. But when the dog started barking and acting up and all of that, he took a blanket and he covered the cage. And the dog shut up. But the dog was trying to bite through the cage to take the blanket off. And I was like, I'm looking at this shit. In my mind, I'm like, this is cruelty to animals. But I was like, what's he doing? He said he's trying to take the blanket off because if he can't see you, he doesn't really know that you're there. I was like, but he can hear you. He said, yeah, but he doesn't know whether you're there right there in the room or if you're in another room. I was like, well, based on his hearing, you know, I'm thinking of all this shit. Like you can tell when somebody is closer to you, but he's thinking for the dog. And I always wondered, I was like, how does he know what that dog is thinking? But one thing is for sure, because the dog couldn't see you giving him attention or hearing his cries or whatever, he didn't act out. He was like, I gotta get this fucking. Not only can they not see me, I can't see them.
So they can't give me attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jihad said he messing that dog up. Absolutely. I was like, this motherfucker should not have an animal. Not at all. Not at all. But watching that, I said, damn. He doesn't know you can see him. So he's quiet while he's crying out for help. I'm watching this dog bite through this fucking blanket and, you know, try to use his mouth to get this blanket off of it. I said, this is some bullshit. But I was like, damn, no audience. No jibber jabber, no barking, no none of that. Same thing with kids. Take away the audience. Take away the fucking audience. It works with adults too. All right. Mm-hmm. Like, look, listen, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit you saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm out of here. If you notice, when you won't argue with people that want to argue and all that kind of shit, now they really be upset. Oh, so you don't want to hear nothing I got to say, blah, blah, blah. You just keep on going. They ain't got no audience. Now, you know, unfortunately, a human being may do some other shit that may cause you to talk to them, but you understand what I'm saying.
Definitely.
But I don't expect people who are evil in their minds and in their hearts. Don't expect them to one day have an epiphany of kindness, of decency. It ain't gonna happen. You know who will change? You will. Mm-hmm. They ain't gonna change because they've been getting what the fuck they want anyway. They've been getting what they want. And keep working until it stops working. It ain't no act right for them. You gonna have to lay the hammer down. The hardest thing, one of the hardest things to ever do is to walk away from a situation that you wanna stay in, because you're not really walking away for yourself. You're trying to walk away for everybody else. Once again, it's the audience. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, you can't implement the act right on the person that's that you're supposed to want to walk away from, but at the same time, you can't do anything decent for yourself. It's a fucked up position to be in. And a lot of people in that position, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's like, what are you going to do? It's tough. It's tough as hell. Knowing that you should walk away from a situation, but not really wanting to go. So as soon as that person or that situation shows a little bit of light, a little bit of promise, a little, you know, give you them false guarantees again, you know what I mean? You right back at it. It's funny. There's this comedian. You may have seen him on YouTube, man. He always yelling and screaming at his baby mom or his ex or whatever about his kids. He's a funny dude, even though the way he be talking, you know, he give me mad, fruity vibes. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of all he normally calls his baby mom into the car with him to talk or whatever. And
I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
And at the end, you know, they wound up fucking in the car and he be putting his clothes back on like, yeah, tell that nigga we back.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
You know what I'm saying? I can't remember his name.
It starts in the house and then it winds up in the car.
Yeah. Next thing you know what I mean? Yeah, tell that nigga we back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the interesting thing I find about those videos is like, yeah, he yelling and screaming and complaining and all of that shit, and he's doing it in a funny way, but he don't really want to be removed from the situation that he's yelling and screaming at. So as soon as, like, I saw one skit where she's telling him that her man living in the crib with him. How you gonna tell him we back? He there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the first semblance of their situation improving or whatever, or in their case, you know, they are was it consummating their what do you say when you have sex right after the wedding? What do you're consummating your, what's the word? When you are basically
when you basically what?
Oh, you know, when a couple gets married, and right after they get married, you know, when they have sex, what they say, that's something, huh?
Consummate the marriage.
It's consummating, right? For some reason it didn't feel right saying it. You know what I mean?
No.
So yeah, for him,
it's not a word that you would normally use because
it is, because I've talked about, you know, you consummating a new job or consummating a marriage or whatever. Yeah. For some reason, the words sound funny today. Like, is that really the word? I don't know. All right, anyway, so yeah, for him, it was consummating their union once more. Like the sex, like, nope, yep, this means we back together. Like you can, like a couple that are on the outs or that has breaking up can't have a sexual experience with each other and still be like, all right, you know what I mean? I see you when I see you. You're not, for him, it means that everything is back, regardless of all of the problems that y'all had. And you know, he get a lot of views. He get a lot of views because that resonates with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But where was the I guess the sex was the act right for him, not for her.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Well, the sex was the act right for him, but it also did it fix things? Because in his mind, it fixed it because he was like telling niggas, tell him that we back together.
Tell him
until the next time y'all get in an argument.
So I don't know what the act right is for his baby mom. I have no idea. But for him, it's, you know, the sex is that did it. But you know, that's That's fantasy. In the real world, we gotta watch out for this type of behavior because it'll keep us fucked up. It'll keep us good and fucked up for a hot minute. Yeah. So, yeah. Not getting enough act right. Yeah. And in a relationship or a marriage, there can be a lot of things that qualify that fit under the act right umbrella. It could be sex. It could be understanding. It could be consideration. You know what I mean? Consideration. Dealing with somebody that's inconsiderate is a bitch. Especially when they fail to acknowledge it. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback on your side, Troy. You got your TV turned up a little bit?
My fault. That's better.
All right. Yeah. Dealing with somebody that's inconsiderate, that's a hard thing. Because some people are so considerate of others, it might even get on a person who a regular person's name. Like, have you ever dealt with a person that never strikes back at people that fuck with them all the time? Okay, like for example.
Yeah, I know somebody that does that.
Mm-hmm. Like people looking for validations of friendship from people who ain't they friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so here you are doing things for them and doing favors for them and hooking them up with shit, and they don't fuck with you like that. They don't like you. It's hard to watch that because it feels like somebody is bullying the person that you care about, and they good with it. You're not, but they seem to be all right with it.
Right.
Shit is tough. You know what I mean?
Comfortable as hell.
Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with something like that and with a person that's close to you, that starts chipping away at your own. It starts chipping away at your psyche. It starts chipping away at your feelings because you want to take up for somebody who don't even want you to fight for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna whoop their ass. No, you can't do that. You like,
no, I got it.
You know, shoot, they worried about the other person getting hurt. Meanwhile, they getting their ass kicked every day emotionally. And you got to sit back and watch that shit like, this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it.
Hey, you in pain for them, but they ain't in pain for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So can we say that act right can act right can be a way of fixing? It's supposed to be a way of fixing it, but sometimes act right is just always different sides of act right. Although it's supposed to be a way of fixing it.
I think for me, it's always act right is always should always lead to fixing the problem. Whether it's a temporary fix or a permanent fix, it should always fix the problem. It should never make the problem worse.
Right.
Now, fixing a problem can be a little relative. It can be a little instead of literal, it could be what's the other word? Not literal, figurative.
Yeah.
It could be a little figurative, like it could be a little subjective. So like, it's fixed for now, but the shit, it's like trying to fix a leaky pipe with duct tape. It's still leaking, but it's not leaking as bad. At least we can put the water ain't spraying everywhere, and we can put this bucket
dripping a little bit. It's dripping.
Yo, just don't remember to check the bucket before you go to bed. What happens? See, hey, think on the crazy part. The duct tape on the pipe might work a lot better if the pipe was dry when you first put the duct tape on. Motherfucker be trying to put the duct tape on while the pipe was already wet. That adhesive ain't sticking to water, motherfucker. So what's their response to it? Add more duct tape. Keep squeezing the ends in that shit like that shit. Like you done sawed the pipe. All right, wrap it a little bit more. Right, wrap it at the part that's not broke, so it'll go down more and more and more and more. Like in their mind, that shit is gonna work.
Like when we think we fuck me up, that flex on immersion. With the water leaking, and they just take the flex on, just tape it up against the thing, and the water ain't dripping no more. I'm saying to myself, this is a beautiful commercial. But then when you get that shit home, you need 5 things of flex on. You didn't use the whole box. You didn't even bought the spray. Let me spray this shit on here first. Oh, spray, we're going, let me wrap this shit up once. Oh, it's still leaking? Let me wrap it up again.
Duct tape, man.
Still fucking need to fuck this. I'm calling plumber.
Duct tape is...
You won $50 on shit that you should have just paid for the plumber.
Fucking niggas and duct tape and crazy glue, boy. We will duct tape and crazy glue everything. We will duct tape and crazy glue a fucking casket. You taking that? You going to heaven with fucking duct tape and crazy glue ass casket.
A motherfucker fixing something with duct tape is almost similar to when you hurt yourself and you fall off your bike and get scratched, and your mom say, or your grandma say, just take some Robitussin.
Look, Jihad said, especially when they got that Dollar Tree duct tape. Oh my God. We using duct tape for everything except for what? Heating ducts. We're like, you don't use that. You use that for that? Like, yes. This is actually what it's. Oh, motherfuckers. Most motherfuckers think duct tape is spelled.
It's for heating ducts, and they say for real. That's what it's for. Don't you see the word? Don't you see how it's spelled? D-U-C-T.
Look, most motherfuckers think it's spelled D-U-C-K.
Oh my
they
God.
Think it's.
Well,
they think
some companies got a duck on the front of
it. They do. I've seen it. It was actually called duct tape. It was duct tape. I'm like, yo, you're not making things better. You're not helping. You're not helping.
People like a motherfucker.
You got motherfuckers around here thinking that duct tape is a brand name. Like, they just call it duct tape for some reason. So what's Scotch tape?
Different colors.
Hold on, what's Scotch tape? Chicken tape? Yo, give me some turkey tape. They got turkey tape? Let's try that. It's lower in fat. All right, man, let's get on up out of here, man. Let me let these good people go ahead about their afternoon. Hold on. But before we go, let's talk about some of the things. What's the wildest thing that you've ever seen attempted to get fixed with duct tape?
A stove door.
God damn.
A stove fucking door.
What?
A stove door.
All right. Now, I've seen many cars, like taping on the driver's side or the passenger side mirror.
Yeah.
Headlights. Motherfuckers, they can just paint over some shit. You got a little minor fender bender, duct tape that shit up because you fucked up on the insurance.
Get the red duct tape for the light. Get the red duct tape.
No. You can get either the regular duct tape and then you just buy some spray paint, some Rust-Oleum paint. You know what I mean, from the store.
Yeah.
What else? What else you got? We already talked about the pipe.
Yeah, let me see. I see a stove. You see a car. Let me see. Hold up. The wood on the banister.
Yes, I've seen that too.
The wood on the fucking banister.
Yo, Jihad said people duct tape suitcases. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We looking bad. That's why we looking bad at the airport, yo. We looking bad at the airport, yo.
And then they wonder why they shit missing out their suitcase at the airport.
If niggas could get away with trash bags at the airport, do you know how many of those contractor bags? Like, yo, this ain't the regular. This the good trash bags. These the contract. I paid $20 for this shit.
Hold up. Don't you know Balenciaga has trash bags that's worth $2,000?
Yo. Oh my
so you
God.
go to the airport with a trash bag, you be like, yo, that's a Balenciaga trash bag. Be careful with my bag.
I can't, man. I can't. I've seen baby strollers fixed with duct tape. I'm like,
yeah. Oh. Shopping carts.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
When they lost the screw and they try to put the wheel back on and just wrap the duct tape around there.
I just seen people use duct tape when part of they vinyl siding came out on their crib. Piece popped out. Got a whole ladder. You got up there to fix your shit with duct tape.
I got one for you. I've seen somebody try to fix a leak in the ceiling with duct tape.
I've seen that. I absolutely have seen it. I had to wonder: Are you fixing? Are you trying to stop the leak? Because it doesn't do that. Or are you just trying to keep the drywall, the sheetrock from coming down? Both of them are fails. Like there's a such thing as drywall tape, but I guess they don't know nothing about that, so they use duct tape. Like drywall tape don't stick, so that's why I use the duct tape. It's better. Like you're supposed to use the joint compact. Never mind. You right. It look all right too. It look all right. You painted it. Huh?
It look nice. You got the color that matches it too. You don't even see the lines in the paint. You got how many rolls you use?
Oh my God.
Oh, I got one more. When it's cold, they put it at the bottom of the door to keep the cold from coming underneath.
Yep. Yes, definitely. So that's a duct tape threshold. You like that? Cool. We cook it with gas. Nope. We cook it with duct tape. That's what we do. Now you know what? Speaking of that, I better not speak that into existence because we gonna see somebody with a cast iron skillet. Oh yeah, with the handle taped over some duct tape on it. Be like, yo, now I don't have to use no oven mittens. Look, I can just. You know what? I'm good. We all right.
Matter of fact, I'm just gonna rub that on. This is my great grandmother gave me this pad. I ain't throwing this shit. I'm gonna wrap duct tape around this motherfucker.
You know what? Yo, we like I said, better not speak into the existence. Wait a minute. Jihad said like people think Gorilla Glue is good for everything. I don't want to get into that. Gorilla Glue, crazy glue. Remember
that they got Gorilla Glue duct tape.
Ain't that some shit? But what I was gonna say is, we better not speak this shit into existence. We're gonna see somebody running around here with a duct tape prosthetic leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Look, Trump is making too many cuts to the budget. I couldn't get my prosthetic leg repaired. But I got that good old faithful duct tape. Look, I'm walking. You see, I'm walking, right?
Duct tape is not just for vets anymore.
Or at all.
Hold up. Duct tape in the back of picture frames.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and in the back of mirrors with the frames on it. So when that picture, when the big mirror fell out, you ain't want to. It didn't crack the mirror, but it cracked the back of the frame.
I can't, man.
Let me duct tape that shit up. I ain't throwing that shit in the trash. I paid $40 for that motherfucker from Ross.
Oh God.
I ain't doing that shit.
Jihad talking about.
I'm gonna get gorilla glue duct tape.
Jihad talking about duct tape around the window and air conditioners.
Oh my
Absolutely,
God.
boy.
Yeah. Especially if the two things pull up, if one of them broke off, if the flaps was messed up.
So that's called
that whole thing up.
That's called raggedy and cool. It looked.
Hold up. Let me get a piece of cardboard and put right there, and then I'm gonna just duct tape the rest of that shit. Oh my God,
I seen that shit too many times, dog. Too many times. All right, we gotta go.
All right, man. Much love, man. That duct tape, she got me fucked up. All
right, have a good afternoon, man. You know what I mean? Go duct tape your feelings back. You'll feel better.
I'm up here chilling with my grandson. My daughter just brought my 1-year-old grandson in, so
that's what's up.
So he cool right now. So just holler at your boy, baby boy.
All right, man. Holler. Peace.
All right. That's cool.
All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious June 21st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box. My girl Alicia Burns. Happy birthday to you. And also Rankeen Brianna, or is that Rankeen Brianna? Okay. And what Antonia Murray, and she's raising money for the American Heart Association. I'm just reading whatever, however I want to read shit, right? And Ty McMillan, happy birthday. And Gaia Love, my girl Gaia Love, have it all. She supports the Daily Go Getimism all the time. And Amina Adebayo, happy birthday. And Jarrell MC. And Sherilyn Harris, Kevin Williams. And last but not least, my girl Deirdre Waters. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious June 21st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn them too loud. Just turn them loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn to rock out. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. Anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, act right. Act right. Why do we have to act like every night? Act right. Act right. Get right. Yo, I'm trying to make sure it comes out and spit right. Yo, I was acting wrong for a long time. Somebody had to do something about me like it was a crime. And I wasn't trying to get locked up. So I had to get that act right implemented. That's yup. And sometimes it's true for you and whoever comes through. Yo, let me see what we got to do. What we got to do is make sure that we keep the lines of communication open and still kills. What we got to do is keep the lines of communication open. Yo, keep looking and keep scoping. I ain't going to waste my time hoping that things will get better with somebody who won't let a good time, a good frame of mind come through. So I'm going to tell you this, look, boo. Yo, I love you and you're supposed to love me also, but you've been acting like a hoe. And I know that it's a fact, so I'm going to have to get this act. I'm not sure if that's a situation that I can fix, but I know one thing, I'm going to have to pick my battles, shake, rattle, and roll. I'm going to find somewhere else to have control. My pole is important to me, and I ain't trying to have that shit sick and bumpy. So, act like you know, ho. And I ain't trying to be around that Soho. You know that place in New York. Don't worry about it. Yo, everything is going to be all right when I shot it. I had to shoot my fade. I had to make sure that I never get played. And I can't say never get played because everybody got to get played one time or another. You listen to me, brother. I'm going to help you out when you really need it. And you can help me out too. Yeah, because we crew. And sometimes the support is all that is really need to be observed. So I'm going to serve. Emily Dunlap is in the house. Bow, she about to turn it out. I appreciate all y'all coming on the stream. So, you know what I mean? I'm getting through this thing and I'm still staying myself. A couple of crabs, a couple of shrimp, and I'm going to stand strong. No wimp. All right, y'all. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another Urban Therapy with Sun show. So make sure y'all come on through. Y'all be careful out there today. Like I said, it's a hot one. First day of summer, official. First official day of summertime. And it's trying to kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. Oh, she's so see y'all tomorrow, man. Have a great day today. Peace. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. All right.